Hello
Hello
everyone.
everyone.
I Ria Pahuja from Team ETCIO welcome you all to yet another webinar of ETCIO on platform thinking key to mobility-led digital transformation. Mobility has been around for a few years, but for businesses to scale and maximize ROI on their investments, thinking beyond the obvious is the key for gaining competitive advantage. In the webinar today, speakers will discuss how a platform-led approach can enable organizations to establish a secure, scalable, and sustainable foundation to implement their mobility roadmap effectively and also add value to their enterprise mobility journey and drive their digital success. The speakers will also speak on how Sonata's unique platform methodology has successfully helped enterprises in their digital transformation initiatives. We have Mr. Arpan Majumdar and Ms. Revti with us. Welcome, speakers. Mr. Arpan is responsible for business development for data analytics, e-commerce, and mobility at Sonata, with focus on products in enterprise mobility and digital commerce. Revati is an experienced IT professional with engineering qualifications, having rich and insightful experience in architecting mobile and open source based solutions. Over to you, Mr. Majumdar. Please take.
Thanks, Ria, for generous introduction. First of all, hello everyone, and thanks for taking time out from your busy schedules on a working day and investing with us today. We'll try our best to ensure we will make best use of your investment of time, deliver value over the next 40 or 50 minutes or so. So just quickly running through what we today as a part of our agenda. So what we realize very important is to kind of understand where, because the various maturity levels of various industries are very different when it comes to digital transformations, especially when you're looking at a mobility-led transformation, and an introduction to why we believe that the platform thinking way is possibly the success mantra for successful digital transformations in the digital economy. We will then run you through what we believe are the critical success factors and the pillars for an enterprise mobility platform, how it can actually benefit, accelerate your enterprise mobility journey by taking a platform-led approach. Not the least, we will also showcase briefly Sonata's platform for enterprise mobility-led digital transformations, which is called Halosys, with a case study of a success story that we've had in one of our customers in Europe. So without much ado, let's move forward. A quick introduction to Sonata, because I think that's where this entire theme of platform thinking has come as we have evolved. So roughly about, we've been there for over 3 decades and about $500 million in revenue. And like most of you have seen, there has been ups and downs, and we have also been seeing the changing dynamics of our industry. And fortunately, we managed to thrive, more importantly, in the context of our discussion, where over the last 3 years specifically, traditional companies have been dealing with a lot of disruption. Sonata has been one of the fastest growing companies on the Indian stock markets. And that's not without a reason. The key driver of our growth has been investments we've made in the recent past in building or buying IP or platforms, strategic acquisition, and a platform approach to transformation. Our session today will provide you insights on how this helps in the enterprise journey. We continue a high-performing talent in digital technologies, but our unique production methodology, which is trademarked in the US, makes some of the very few Indian IT companies 7 to 8 IPs or platforms in our portfolio. Halosys being one of them. That said, we speak of digital transformation. The biggest challenge is that everybody's speaking about it, and there are numerous perceptions and definitions of digital transformation for stakeholders, which unfortunately leads to also confusion. Though kind of very heavily, or you could say loosely used jargon with most organizations struggling to achieve tangible business impact or outcomes. And that is the reason, if you look at the industry, there is we have witnessed that where platform-based business models are taken at the core of digital transformation, and that is where we coined this entire term, platformation. We've seen from an industry perspective also that is where the success stories lie. So if you look at the industry-wide adoption of digital transformation, I know it's a cumbersome slide. I'll kind of sum it up for you. So this is based on a research by McKinsey that the drivers and potential areas of maximizing impact of digital initiatives varies from industry to industry. Though it's a known fact, everybody needs it, but why you need it or it's successful actually changes from an industry to industry. So knowledge intensive industries, say like our IT industry or financial services, have a very high level of adoption of digital business processes and technologies. Labor intensive or say localized sectors like construction, or for that matter the public sector government, have much lower rates of adoption. And from a practical experience, like example, one of the customers where we engaged on a mobility led digital transformation program, they were very conservative on the investments into technology. As you would understand, the construction sector is a very capital investment centric sector with significant funds which are locked. So their challenge was, though they wanted to transform, enable their field force, but the budgets were very minimal, and the thought process was, if we want to innovate with technology, there's a huge investment and time that needs to go through, and that is not our priority as a organization. However, when consulting approach, must make them understand the or the value platform-based approach bring in, not only budget from an mobile perspective, but importantly, empowered their force to productivity, activity, organization. We have a significant field force, remote. So this helped them connect better within the organization, their brought in a lot of tangible savings, costs, increased efficiencies. So that's what I'm trying to kind of bring, that based on the industry you build the maturity, it is very important where you are, you embark on a platform-led. What they realized was they embarked on a journey was the essence of adoption of mobility for ensuring a competitive advantage and sustainability is critical for. This is just an example I wanted to give from a standpoint that we have. Similar scenarios, uh, but with different drivers, would exist in other industries, like say retail and manufacturing. So to reiterate the importance of mobility in the digital economy, let's look at some of the facts, because see, numbers don't lie. As you would have a couple of surveys conducted by renowned advisory firms, uh, almost 70% of enterprises believe mobility is a critical piece of their digital transformation journey. This is a well understood and accepted fact. I think all of us realize that. Most importantly, as the proportion of millennials are increasing in your end customer base, mobile would be the most important channel for both acquiring, retaining, and nurturing your customer and improving their customer experience. However, as I earlier said, it's easier said than done, and that's not without a reason. In the last few years, we have seen a significant transition in companies who have moved out and moved in among the Fortune 500 companies. And that's because the reason of your ability to deal with this digitally disruptive economy, surveys suggest that almost those 70% of companies have an intent of having mobile as a part of their digital agenda. Only 14% are ready to respond to digital disruption. And that's, I think, an alarming gap between the intent and the success of an execution level implementation. And that's where I think the entire platformation or platform-based thinking is what we believe helps. So what do we essentially mean when we say platformation? Sonata methodology of platformation is its enterprise's ability to identify and correlate industry-specific market variables for whichever business you are into, and your own organization or company's business-specific factors as key levers that can drive the journey to ensure an open, scalable, connected, and intelligent ecosystem, which is not only for now, but which is a sustainable model for a short and realization of. And as we move forward, we will get into details from a mobility perspective, how each of these apply in a platform-led mobility journey. So just stressing on this, because this is the key theme of the successes we've seen. Digital intervention, if you see, has not only metamorphosized the technology boundaries, but more importantly, revolutionized the business models which are used across industries. That is where you would find, like typically the organizations with platform-based business models, like say the Ubers, Amazons, Airbnbs of the world, are the most successful companies in today's digital economy. Now, that being a fact, now coming, obviously their business is different, our business is different, your business will be different among the different people in the audience. The question is, how do we apply the above to create a platform-based approach to your enterprise mobility initiatives? See, it's an inarguable fact that mobile today is the face of digital transformation, be it in terms of enhancing customer experience, or for that matter, empowering your own employees, or engaging with your sub or partner ecosystem. Mobility is a key channel to drive service and success. Now, that said, one of the biggest reasons, and not only mobility, I think even from a pure success of digital transformation on the ground, the Big Bang approach to digital transformation has not worked on the ground for most companies. So it's important to assess whether your business actually needs a platform-based approach to mobility initiatives. And how do you do that? So the first step, I think, is to introspect and assess the maturity of enterprise mobility landscape. Where do you stand in the value chain? So based on our experience, having worked with multiple enterprises of various sizes, industries, we believe 4 big factors or critical success that has as is status and maturity, deciding if it's the right time to, or how best can you move up the value chain in a mobility maturity curve for your enterprise. First couple of things, and these need to take a look from perspective. The first couple of things, which is strategy and culture, that is not very possibly platform help. Okay, I have to be very clear on that. So the strategy, what we typically mean, or what we try to influence our customers, because we need to understand their goals, their objectives, is what is the level of commitment at the leadership level, mobile-led digital transformation, which boils down to their operating structure, their business objectives, etc. The second piece, which is again nothing that a provider can is the base culture of the organization. What is the level of business alignment, extending services through the channel in the kind of system or industry that you currently exist in? So these two are very, very critical aspects before you even get into this journey. The third and fourth piece are the pieces where a platform-led approach helps, which is basically the technology has to be something which has to support a continuous integration and evolution with minimal effort and turnaround time. What I mean by that is you'll be aware that mobile technology is changing at an extremely rapid pace, and business demands are always ASAP or I want it yesterday. So do you have a technology foundation that can essentially help you continuously integrate and put very minimal effort and cost in terms of a turnaround time for the various apps which are coming into the portfolio. The second piece is, do you really need a portfolio of apps, be it customer facing or be it for your own employee or partner ecosystem to be managed? Because to be very honest, if your business can run with two apps, a platform-led approach of okay, so investing in that journey. But if you portfolio of apps or you have an enterprise mobile road which you have to implement over the next 6 months, couple of years, which increasingly is becoming the scenario. Uh, uh, Most organizations are getting into a mobility-led digital strategy. Then a platform-led approach helps. So summing it up, while one and two, which is strategy and culture, are primarily strategic factors which a platform can solve, 3 and 4 are definitely driving factors to adoption of a platform. But essentially, why do you need it? So let's move forward to see the real picture of a mobility journey. And I think this is one of the most critical slides as a part of today's session, that why do enterprises need a platform for your mobile strategy? So presuming a lot of you would be exposed on the business side to various apps or from a technology side to building those apps in your organization, we have the biggest challenge or the biggest reason of failure is there's a significant focus, not without reason. I'm not saying it's not required, but what I'm trying to say is there's a significant focus on the tip of the iceberg, which is typically things like your front-end development, your app connectivity, important from a user experience perspective. But what we forget, that is a which is consistent, constantly changing. You have to be able to change what you want to keep as a sustainable foundation. Almost a 70% of an entire life cycle of rolling out mobile apps or enterprise apps in an organization. I've tried to highlight in the bottom half of this slide. So if you are successful founder or enterprise mobile strategy, you need a platform because it makes it a sustainable, repeat, and cost-effective way of rolling out various with minimal turnaround time. Typical things like mobile services or the app management piece of it, or for that matter, important pieces you have to take care for every app you roll out, which is in terms of security, authentication, what is the usability you can bring in, and obviously the connectivity to various backend systems. That is a piece which you can standardize with a platform, so that every time your business demands an app or you move a mobility journey, you do not have to invest effort, time in all over again single app. And that's the time to market is very important for a competitive advantage perspective. So a platform standardizes processes, governance, security, and integrations across an entire enterprise mobility suite to help accelerate your app rollout. You ease the maintenance. So for the infrastructure guy who is responsible for managing your entire mobile app suite, it's a big headache if he has to take care of all of this in an isolated fashion rather than in a standardized process-driven fashion. So a common infrastructure reduces your costs and efforts of maintaining your enterprise mobile suite and centralizes the usage analytics across the application suite that you have, which I'm in this case referring to mobile app suite. The third piece, which is very critical, is what a platform provides. It's like you get a kitchen or an infrastructure for building your recipes for serving your markets and customers. So your front end apps are definitely important. That is the cooked plate. But to make it happen, you need an infrastructure with which you'll cook those recipes, right? So basically, a platform that empowers mobile teams with flexibility and necessary tools, components, SDKs, or software development kits, APIs, etc., for enabling a structured and process-driven enterprise mobile strategy which is sustainable. Last but not the least, it kind of increases the inventory of reusable assets as you build more and more apps. Because every time with each project, you're building new features and functionalities which are getting added to your foundation, which is the platform. So the burden of the QA or the for each app reduces, and it enhances the user experience because the quality becomes better. So it enhances the user experience of apps as they are more cohesive across the enterprise. So with that message, let's move to a very key component of a platform-led mobile strategy, which is essentially mobile backend as a service. I'll request my colleague, Revti, who heads our competency or mobility competency at Sonata, to run you through the technicalities of a platform-driven enterprise mobile journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Arpan, for setting the foundation for the rest of the session. So, as Arpan showing the iceberg scenario, showing the various hidden or invisible challenges in the journey to the mobility uh, part of the digital transformation. Let us look at how MBAS is going to come together to meet the foundation for the sustainable digital transformation through mobiles. The first roadblock, like we saw, only 14% of the enterprises are embarking on the mobility journey. The first roadblock is integrating the innovation with the existing systems. There are a whole lot of systems which the enterprises have built or bought over a period of so many years, and they are very critical for the day-to-day operations. But how do I bring those aspects of innovation, be it connectivity to different systems, be it security for different applications or mobile first data, how do I bring those innovation over and above the existing system is a key roadblock. That's where MBAS is a tangible platform concept to bring in those implementations, which is going to aid the innovation towards the mobility journey part of the digital transformation of any enterprise. Typically, what happens is in the urge to solve the problem quickly, there is always a quick fix and a shortcut and a faster way of implementing the either the integrations or getting the mobile first data from the different enterprise systems, which results in a very less usability as we develop more and more apps. So this MBAS is going to bring in a technology platform over which you implement such aspects, including seamless integration to different systems and also getting the mobile first data and add some intelligence in terms of the notifications and analytics which are required for executing your mobile led digital transformation. And it is a fact that IT is having a responsibility of running the current systems, which are key for business uh, processes and business operations, which are required for a day-to-day successful operations. At the same time, there is a need for the other track, to execute the innovations required for the digital transformations. That's where there is a two-track IT. I think today most of the leaders have to embark on, and we have seen based on our different customer experience where MBAS aids as the other track, to accelerate your digital transformations through mobiles. And it is also validated by different analysts and other reviewers that mobile backend service is complementing the platform as a service or a software as a service or infrastructure as a service are, to fast track this digital transformation, and the market is expected to grow at around 87 billion US dollars, and it is growing faster than any other technology platform in the space, maybe leaving around cloud and other similar technologies. So we know that now with the foundation just established, MBAS is going to be a key part of the platform-led mobile uh, program for any enterprise. So now these are concepts. What we talked is how MBAS is going to be key, and coming to the tangibility of what it should be looking like. So let us just connect back to what we talk about, the key aspects or key pillars of the platformation is open, connected, scalable, and intelligent. So we have tried to extend that concept to bringing about and listing out what will be the features or pillars for executing this enterprise mobility platform in terms of the attributes that one should look at for an enterprise mobility platform. So first is key is open. The platform should be open in the sense it should be adhering to the open standards today, and it should be connecting to different systems the enterprises have invested in seamlessly, and it should support the distributed transactions through mobile, because the mobile brings in another layer, another aspect, and it should also roll out APIs for others to consume. So the openness is defined by these attributes. And moving on to the next attribute, which is next pillar, which is connected. Today, the devices or one aspect where there's a lot of innovation is happening, and nobody can even dare to imagine what is the next kind of gadget which is going to revolutionize the users and the consumers. So this platform should support the past, present, and the future devices which may come in the technology world, and that means it should provide SDKs for rolling out the apps quickly, for showing the data quickly across different channels. So this is the key aspect of the connected pillar of an enterprise mobility platform. Moving on, the third important aspect is the scalability. The scalability comes in different forms. The scalability in terms of number of users, scalability in terms of the geography, and scalability in terms of the features you want to roll out and the customization you would like to do seamlessly. So these aspects are important to realize the scalability pillar of a particular enterprise mobility platform. And the last but not the least is how do you run this platform, the operations part of it, and what are the analytics it's going to provide, what are the kind of self-healing intelligence it has to bring out and or to cure itself if something goes wrong in today's network and connectivity, which is across different stakeholders. And also, how do we notify the stakeholders and systems in a very intelligent way so that there is a kind of alerts and some advices given so that the operations can be smooth with lesser cost. So these are the four pillars, and we have actually abstracted the features based on the pillars of the platformation. So such technology attributes, when you try to implement, definitely it is an investment today. The investment which worries any leadership. What does it take? What do we get out of such investment? And let us see what benefits we have, because we have seen based on our experience across different customers in different domains, this platform-led approach, investing in this platform-led approach, though there's an initial thought process involved, it has really provided both a qualitative and quantitative benefits. Number one, because we are having a lot of technology implementation in a single platform, it is providing a lot of reusability. For example, let us say you connect into a ERP platform to get some data and attributes that is going to be used just not to create one application, but for multiple applications and across different channels. That means the 50% of the effort is already it's already available and you are saving on that effort. You just focus on rolling out on the device you want. So there is a rapid building and debugging capabilities. We have seen the mobile app developer is able to focus on rolling out the app rather than figuring out how to connect, what to connect, and doing all the plumbing activities. And when you roll out, it provides a lot of debugging, which means you are able to quickly fix issues, and you are also able to roll out the changes and upgrades. Many of you, almost all of you, will be owning a smartphone, and you'll see how fast your mobile app gets upgraded. So every week you get upgrades of multiple apps. So you should have the rollout of the mobile apps, the upgrade of the mobile apps is completely different from your core systems. It means it has to be faster and it has to be seamless. And when doing that, it should be really tested completely. No, it should, when you roll out and you don't have any way to roll it back, because it would have been distributed to multiple consumers and multiple users. So you save time in terms of reusability, and uh, seamless operations, and that gives you a peace of mind, which is a key qualitative aspect. A CIO or a CXO, when he invests in such platform, he or she does not want to wake up to a whole lot of problems which is going to come as part of the program. So this investing in this platform is going to give you a very tangible savings in terms of time, money, operations, and peace of mind, giving a very qualitative output uh, and a very high level of confidence in the releases and the execution of the program. So in our experience, we have seen that this investment has really given both the qualitative and quantitative benefits well appreciated. So when such a typical digital transformation program, if it has to be uh, successful on the ground, there are multiple stakeholders, and all stakeholders should see the value of investments done as part of the digital transformation journey, and in this case, a mobile platform. So let us start with the top of the pyramid, the CXO. A CXO, by investing in such platform, he is going to have a very tangible framework, which is going to help him in realizing the business vision in a very structured and platform centric way. He is going to, the investment he has done, he or she has done, is going to give a very sustainable foundation to take up any program to realize the business vision in the path of the digital transformation. Thereby, it accelerates the mobility-based digital transformation, which is the key aspect of this program. And from the business head perspective, you know, he or she, generally business needs the results faster. They want it yesterday, and this is going to be a platform because it has given a very strong foundation. It is going to fast track the innovation, not depending on the other program of the two-track IT programs, the core systems, the innovations could be taken up faster due to the investment in such platforms. And the business is able to have increased responsiveness to the market or consumer demands. And the third important role holder, an enterprise architect or an infrastructure head, what do he or she is going to gain from this? What they are going to get is an extensible platform, because there's a platform and a key technology decision is already made. That means all plumbing is done, architecturally key aspects are taken care of, and there is no vendor locking. So enterprise architect is able to have a very tangible platform to roll out a different applications required by the business and the CXO. And most importantly, the mobile app programmer. The mobile app programmer is going to focus on the building apps rather than focusing on the plumbing of the or the foundation, which is going to be taking more effort, and which may not be his core competence at all. So, and he has the flexibility to choose whatever technology he wants, because the technology depends on the device, and the device is most happening area. The gadgets are evolving, the innovation is happening. So the mobile app developer is able to focus and learn on that aspect rather than on the plumbing aspect. So we can see, and we have also seen our experience that the different stakeholders in the path of digital transformation is able to see value in such platform. So we have seen the concepts of what the platform should be, what the platform should look like, and what people can see value out of this. Now we would like to spend in the next few slides on the actual platform we have, where we have realized this technology aspect as a tangible, working, successful platform. So there are, this is called a Halosys basically, and we have acquired this from a US-based Silicon Valley 3 years back, and we have rolled out successfully across geographies, across different domains. And let me talk about some of the features this platform has. So one aspect is the integrations, because today the integration to different very disparate system is key for a mobile journey. And our platform Halosys has got integration to almost all systems and protocols, I would say, across different technology platforms. It could be cloud, it could be on-premise, and it could be across different aspects of the security as well. And the second aspect is, after integrating, you have to map the data required for the mobile applications, depending on the use case. You may want to morph the data, you may want to transform the data, you may want to take a subset of the data. So we have a way, and we have a feature where you can quickly create the mobile first data, number one. Number two, we can also extend the functionality using any of the common scripting languages like JavaScript, very lightweight way to create or pre-process or post-process the response from the different systems. Thereby, it is going to give you a platform to complement the core business processes to realize the mobile specific processes, because in most cases you may want to add some logic to the data which is coming from your enterprise systems based on your use case. The third aspect, which is I'll say it's also one of the uh, common worry among the IT department, is the security and authentication. How do you ensure you are able to have a single sign-on experience, leveraging the investment you have made in your security aspect of the enterprise? So we have a very seamless integration across all popular security and identification platform, and we also have a way to onboard users who are not part of your enterprise. For example, your dealers may not be part of your enterprise security system, but you would like to have those dealers to use the mobile apps. So there is a seamless way to onboard them and assign roles to them to access the enterprise data based on the need and the requirements. And the fourth, excuse me, and the fourth important aspect of your enterprise mobility platform that we saw is the notifications. The notifications and workflows are key aspects. You may want to send notification across as a push notification across different mobile devices. Could be a Apple or Android or a Windows, or it could be through a web push notification, which is very common nowadays, or it could be through an email, or it could be through a text, or it could be all of them. You may want to give the same data, and you also would like to add some intelligence to it. For example, if your executive procures an order through a mobile, you may want the manager only to know that the order is procured through a notification or an email. So we have a very intelligent notification mechanism, and it's also patented in US for the intelligence we have bringing in the entire notification features. And fifth important aspect is the deployment. Most of the enterprises would like to deploy their mobile apps in their own private app store, not in the public app store, which is provided by Apple's and Google's or Microsoft. This deployment means we have to manage the complete life cycle of the application. You may have to publish, you may want to upgrade, you may want to notify, you may want to bring down the app, you may want to upgrade the versions, and the entire deployment and managing the life cycle of the app could be seamlessly managed through this platform. And having done all that, like I said earlier, operation should be smooth to have a peace of mind. And we have a complete post-launch operations, a complete debugging, logging capabilities. We can see the performance of the applications, how API is performing, whether we want to, whether the user is spamming, we want to block a user, you want to block a device, the entire operations to have a successful running of the platform could be managed seamlessly through a very advanced admin console we have as part of the Halosys platform. In short, this, if you have a platform-led thinking for your mobile journey as part of your digital transformation, Halosys as a product has realized the needs and aspirations as the tangible features and has been successful in playing a part of the platform-led digital transformation on the mobile application development, and we have seen the value of using such platform. So how does it look like? Because I just talked about the features, it would have been vague, but typically, especially from an architect perspective, how does it fit in an enterprise IT portfolio? So you see on the bottom part is your business systems where you have invested, which are running, which are required for your day-to-day operations. And what you see in the end are the applications you need to realize as part of your digital transformation journey. And what you see in the middle is the platform, MBAS platform, which is Halosys, which is sitting in the middle. And it could be on any cloud, Azure or AWS, or it could be on-premise if so required due to compliance or other reasons. And it could connect to different enterprise systems. You can see that I am connecting to different enterprise system, and this could be on cloud or on-premise. And it could also connect to third-party systems through APIs. And and what you see in red is the out of the box features of the Halosys platform. Now you have first the services which you can build on the connectors. You can create a microservice depending on the business need and the business requirement of the mobile application. You can create a mobile first data. These are all mobile first data could be created without any code. All these are all configuration based, and you can configure the notification rules, and you can create triggers, you can create rules, you can add intelligence, and you can have authentication and authorization, and you have policies. You can say who can access what app and what data, and you have complete insight and monitoring on how the platform performs. And all this are actually exposed as SDKs, which you see as the developer SDKs. As we said, the developer is free to choose the technology he wants to build the app on. It could be iOS Swift, or it could be Android Java, or it could be Xamarin, or it could be a JavaScript. And we give SDKs for all popular front-end technologies in the world today. And using these SDKs, the developer can access the objects which you have configured and can build the app. He can just focus on creating the apps on the front end, consuming the objects. So I hope this gave a brief view of how we realize this MBAS in the overall IT scenario. And so also I would like to spend 2 minutes on a case study. And we have actually implemented this in multiple places. In one of the large European manufacturer, he's having legacy systems. It's developing a lot of having both the manufacturing as well as the post manufacturing services. And the business scenario is they want to bring many of the processes to the mobiles. It could be audit, it could be tracking, it could be servicing or post the sales. And how we help them is Halosys and all this many of the applications needed common reusable connectivity, common notifications, and we have used Halosys to build the foundation and a sustainable platform for them to roll out the applications. So we have built around 4 applications which are successfully running, and it is help the customer to roll out the mobile apps faster, realize what the business needs in a very seamless way, and also it has resulted in considerable savings around €500,000, €500,000,000, which is in terms of capex and opex till now. So let me just pass on the baton to Arpan in concluding the session.
Yeah, thanks, Revati. I think oh, sorry, I was speaking on mute. So thanks a lot, Revti. I think that's interesting, and more importantly, from the audience's perspective, like initially we spoke about an industry perspective and why we believe a platform-led approach is very, very critical from an enterprise mobility strategy. I think Revti's insights as a practitioner on how do you kind of at an execution level bring that thinking down to successful implementation would have given some definite insight to the audience how they could potentially move towards a platform-led digital transformation for their enterprise mobility journey. So before we move into the Q&A, so having looked already at the industry scenario, the platformation approach to mobility-led digital transformations, the benefits delivered to customers, I think what finally matters, all this is good, but in respect of the time you have invested with us today, what matters is what does all of this mean to you, right? So we do know that the audience has a kind of a mix of both technology companies and as well as industry people across various levels in stages. Uh, a platform really of benefit for both these segments of audience that we have today. So as you can see on the slide, uh, the value props are aligned to enterprise. Like we've already covered from a pure enterprise role perspective, who benefits what, because to have a digital transformation program for be successful, uh, you have to have the buying and the benefit for every thing. So from an enterprise perspective, say if you're a system integrator who does mobility projects, but you do not have an IP platform for the mobile apps you're, that matters if you would want to kind of resell a platform, because that becomes a huge revenue or an external beachhead for you, because a platform based on Embass is an upcoming trend. It adds an IP to your portfolio. So SI reseller, ISV kind of a community, I would say a platform-based approach to mobility helps in the business growth by delivering more for less from a common infrastructure standpoint and having an IP which you may not necessarily have invested in. If you look at an enterprise, which is an end customer, say I'm talking about a retail, manufacturing, care, or any other vertical, a based approach you respond faster to demands in the market. It also builds a future-proof for enterprise mobility journey. These are the two critical aspects. The third aspect we must tell us, and I think that's very, very important from Halo's perspective. Often in a lot of platforms, there's a lock-in. So you get into it and content that developed on that technology. Wherein from Halos's perspective, very precious the development piece out that you can choose your internal team or a partner develop app without investment. Please continue to have a sustainable foundation uh, as a platform, right? So, perspective, I again get because I think Revti has covered easy manage app suite and mitigates risks, security, and governance. So the last but not the least, what we would like to highlight any got a today. We pay as you go, which we have not done, so that you can actually have the deliver value at a very minimal initial cost, and your outflow will be based on what you platform. rather than investing software. Get into details when offline. Uh, Connectivity slow. So sorry, there was a little bit of connectivity. So what I was saying is, from a commercial perspective, we can always connect offline to your mobility business. But under platforms charged by the number of users who use the app, it becomes incredibly difficult to predict. We believe the number of API calls hitting the platform is your actual use, so that when you're using an app on, it should not cost you. And our commercial model is really aligned to API call based kind of model. So I done some to the time you invested, and with about to go, I would like to stop here and feel free, you have our contact in the slide, so that you, if you want, you can request conversation based on your organization and you can request a demo, etc. But I'll hand it over to Ria for the Q&A session. Thanks a lot for your patience, and I hope Tata has been able to deliver the promised ROI on the time you've invested with us today. Thank you. Over to you, Ria.
Thank you, Revati and Arpan, for such an insightful session. Beginning with the questions, Arpan, if you could elaborate a little more about the components for platformization.
I think that's a very good question. Sorry, I started speaking on mute. Apologies for that. No, I think that's a very, very important question. And I think Revati kind of highlighted some of the specific aspects from information perspective. So as mentioning that, see, the core theme platform is beyond a marketing term. What I'm saying is an ecosystem, right? The platform which is scalable, connected, and intelligent. So, ability perspective, when you are investing in a platform or creating a platform, what essentially leads to is, in terms of creating systems which can deliver transactions, there should be seamless integration as well as API rollout from a open ecosystem perspective, right? Also, pure scalability perspective, it should be auditable based on the way your business grows. There should be multi-tenancy. You should be able to add mobile business logic, data, processes as you go. So that is a core component of our platform for a mobility perspective. Obviously, it has to be very well connected. So you have to have a multi-device, multi-channel kind of a support, and that's one of the reasons we have SDKs for various popular technologies, so that there is no vendor lock-in, but the flexibility in developer or the developer to leverage what he or she is comfortable with. And last but not the least, in today's day and age, if you can't leverage data, because there's a lot of data exchange which is happening with various business systems, right? So if you can't use that and have some visibility on the usage of your, how do you know whether that's a productive app for the organization? So there has to be analytics, self-healing, intelligent notification. I think Revati mentioned we have a fantastic notification service which is patented in this, which I think kind of are the key components of building a platform which is open, scalable, connected, and intelligent. That answers your question here.
Sure, Arpan. For the next question we have, why do you think that mobile backend service is going to be a big market? It seems like every organization has their own application, but don't you think this leads to the lower down users at each application?
That's a very interesting question. I think the answer is in the question. See, exactly the scenario where you have multiple applications in your enterprise landscape, you have the larger challenge of having to integrate each time you're rolling out an app with one or more of these enterprise applications, because there has to be some data exchange between your mobile and one or more of these enterprise systems. So why we said that MBAS is, that's why you're growing, it actually facilitates usage of those applications rather than bringing down users or bringing down usage of those applications. You're actually creating a foundation and an infrastructure, which in some fashion you can also link it like a, say, a ESB, middleware, API gateway, kind of a mix of rest of these things, wherein you're enabling a sustainable foundation in the organization to extend the various business processes, digital business processes through mobile channels on these applications through a consistent infrastructure. So that's where MBAS actually complements the usage of these applications rather than reduces the usage of these applications. And that's a critical aspect of building a platform-based enterprise mobility journey. Thank you, Ria.
Thank you, Arpan. For the next question we have, does implementation of Halosis create a vendor lock-in with Sonata?
So that I think I briefly kind of answered that basic objective of us investing in Halosis and building the platform out of the typical trend of vendor locking. That is where the front development piece is left to the customer. They can do it themselves. They can, obviously, we have our services to develop apps, but we provide the infrastructure. We have software development kits which you can use. There's no vendor lock-in with Sonata in level as a platform. It's very easily maintainable customer end with limited skills. So we have another couple of minutes. We can maybe take one more question if you have any other question with you. And time for those, I know a whole set of questions which have come in. So for those questions which unfortunately answered today, or please feel free to reach out to our mail. We have it on the screen so that we can definitely engage offline and one-on-one and try to embark or improve mobility. In one last area.
So the last question we're taking is if you can tell us about how security is managed in Halosis.
Okay, so security piece, it's a fairly technical piece. I'll hand my colleague, he will address the question.
Sure. Thanks, Arpan. So the security is having multiple dimension. Now, one is how do you securely connect to the different systems, and how do you enforce the policies you have in your enterprise on the mobile applications access to those systems. And third is how do you avoid any kind of spam attack or unauthorized access onto the platform, thereby attacking your core systems. So first, from the authentication and access perspective, we can seamlessly integrate your security, be it SAML or it could be your custom authentication, or it could be your ADFS you want to directly access. We have a very seamless and secure single sign-on or same sign-on configuration, which could be managed by simple setup along with your enterprise systems through your system administrator. So we integrate that token with access to the rest of the APIs to your backend system. That way, we securely administer any access to your backend system from their mobile app. So the mobile applications need not directly access your core enterprise system, and Halosis acts as a proxy and also integrates with your core authentication and authorization system to enforce your enterprise IT security rules and policies. And the other aspect is we do not want the unauthorized access to this platform itself, which may further compromise your core systems. So we have a very strong public key, private key mechanism for the SDKs to access the core platform data, which will ensure that there is only the authorized apps and authorized users will be accessing this information, thereby the systems. Hope it answers your question.
Thank you, Revati. Unfortunately, running out of time, we cannot take more questions. I'm thankful to both of the speakers for being with us today, also for all the attendees for joining us today. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.